And welcome to this meeting of the Board of Education. If you're tuning in, we always like comments submitted in writing to boe@wcps.k12.us.md.us because that gives us time to really look at what your requests are. So we have a quorum. We're going to start this meeting now with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thea Dunn.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, we just ask you to lead us, guide us, let everything out of our mouth glorify you and promote our students. Thank you. You may be seated. Thea, is there anything you'd like to share, starting with your introduction of people with you? You want to tell us who's with you tonight?
My sister, my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, my dad, and my aunt.
And your principal.
And my principal.
Okay.
Is that your brother with you too?
Oh,
Your school's a very special school to me because that's where my grandson goes also. So, good job for you. I hear that you play soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because you're a veteran soccer player, aren't you? Not only have I heard it from someone else in your family, but why soccer?
I like to score. I like to score goals.
There you go.
And you play the bass drum.
Yeah.
Do you have another instrument you play as well?
I play a lot of different instruments.
I'm going to have to ask you this question because the boys in the back will be very happy with your answer. What's your favorite subject?
Math.
And like me, your favorite ice cream shop is? Now, I got it from good authority that it was Nutter's.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell you how grateful we are for you to be here tonight. We were looking forward to it last time, so you built up the anticipation over the past month, and we're glad you're here. Is there anything you'd like to add? Okay, board members?
I have a question. So it's getting close to the end of school year. Do you have any plans for summer? Any vacations or
No.
nothing? Not any soccer tournaments or go play soccer with your friends or?
We do have a soccer tournament after the last day of school.
Oh, nice, nice. Well,
How
thank
many
you.
days do you have?
12.
12 more days.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for being with her. We appreciate you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, let's move on with approval of minutes, which is going to take you a while. Ashley, go
Yep.
ahead.
I move to approve the work session minutes dated April 1st, 2025.
Second? All those in favor?
I move to approve the closed session open portion minutes dated April 1st, 2025.
Second? Those in favor?
I move to approve the closed session minutes dated April 1st, 2025.
All those in favor?
I move to approve the work session minutes dated April 8th, 2025.
Second? All those in favor?
I move to approve the closed session minutes dated April 15th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
I move to approve the business meeting minutes dated April 15, 2025.
All those in favor?
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Sounds good, which means we're moving into old business with amendments to, yet more amendments to our FY 2026 general fund budget, operating budget. Hi.
Good afternoon, Dr. Zentmeyer, members of the board, Dr. Devine. Staff is here today to request your approval on an amendment to your approved FY 2026 general fund operating budget based on the changes that were made to the capital reserve funding from the Board of County Commissioners that eliminated funding for our bus replacement cycle in FY 2026. As we noted when we met 2 weeks ago, the board did reach consensus on some changes that include replacing in the general fund $1.28 million for 8 buses and reducing the OPEB funding for $625,000 and decreasing the salary resource pool by $656,000. It is worth noting that at their meeting earlier today, the county commissioners did approve their general fund operating budget for 26, which includes the capital reserve fund that did not include the funding for the bus replacement cycle.
Do I have a motion?
President Zentmeyer, move to approve the proposed amendments to the FY 26 general fund operating budget.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing one none, let's go into the vote. Those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Which brings us to new business and the consent agenda. So that we have complete transparency, it's on the screen for everyone to see what we're voting on. We're doing the consent agenda?
I am here. Mr. Bakewell's not here this evening. He's
Okay,
attending to some family matters.
go ahead.
Good afternoon, and once again, Dr. Zentmeyer. So this evening, we have 9 procurements and 1 informational item available for your recognition and approval. Staff is here in the room if you have any questions, and these items have also been reviewed by the Procurement Review Committee for your consideration.
Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the awards, renewals, and procurements as presented in the consent agenda.
Second?
Second.
Who's second? Okay. Discussion?
So I see there's quite a few renewals, Mr. Prue, on here. The first one, exhibit number 1, and my question will be for all of the renewals. We have, on a regular basis, we receive these renewals. How often are we actually sending out a bid to make sure that the renewal is still the best price?
So it depends on the procurement itself. Usually, in the initial procurement, we set the range of dates for the pricing. So for instance, if we use the first line, and I don't know it exactly, Mr. Johnson's here behind me and could maybe speak to it a little better than I can, but when we do our bus purchases, we will award to a vendor with a plan for, let's say, a 3-year procurement with year 1 pricing locked, and then we have opportunities for the vendor to do some refresh pricing in year 2 and year 3 under certain parameters. Both parties still have to agree that that is reasonable pricing. So if a company would come to us and say, I need 20% more to produce that item for next year, we might look at that and go, no, we're not doing that, and we'll go back out to market. If the increase appears to be within standard inflationary measures, we would say, yep, okay, let's move forward, and we present that then as a renewal. So we always have options to take on additional years. We write that into the initial procurement, but it's always at the board's discretion as to whether we want to move forward with that procurement as a renewal or whether we want to go back out to bid.
So typically when we're presented these, we aren't told that there's an option for us to say, no, we'd like to put it out to bid. We just accept what staff tells us. Is that correct?
I think that's a fair assessment, but the board should know that if you were to say no to any particular procurement, we'd figure out another way.
Okay. I guess, I'm just trying to think here now, obviously, like, we know everything increases in price, most cases. But there's probably, an opportunity for someone on a business end, go like, I want to win that bid, I can lower my price a little bit. How are we assuring our public and the taxpayers that we are doing that, as in-house?
So it's many levels of procurement. There's small threshold procurements that staff do on a regular basis. Board policy DJ sets the standards of what we need as a staff to make a procurement, whether we can do things as small thresholds. Maybe we just reach out to a vendor, get a pricing, anything, let's say over $10,000 that we would procure. We go out and we get multiple quotes on a product before we do a procurement. Anything over $25,000 goes through both my office and legal counsel's office and is signed off on by the superintendent. Any procurement we make over $50,000 goes in front of the board. And we go through a number of steps through that process to ensure that we're getting the best price. On renewals, we're always looking at, as I mentioned, we're always looking at what is the price we're paying currently, what is the offering price that the vendor has offered, and does it seem reasonable based on current market conditions? And there are times where we do turn our back on a vendor and say, no, we're going to go back out to bid. That's not a price we're comfortable with. You may recall some bids that we've had where vendors have come to us on a lump sum bid for a project and said, I need more money. And we said, no, it's not there. And we've voided contracts because of that. So staff works very hard to ensure that we're getting the best price for the school system and for our taxpayers. But we also have to understand that we have a limited procurement team. So to bid every item every year would be time sensitive and costly to the district as well.
I'm not asking for that, but I guess, I'm a little concerned that every time we get this renewal word on this consent agenda, I don't know how many times we have renewed it. And so I'm wondering to the superintendent, maybe we could address that in some way of saying this has been renewed twice for a 3-year period. That would be a total of 6 years, so that we know that we've already, renewed it, and it's in the second.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it could be,
Yeah,
it
so-
could be drawn out for 6
And
years.
maybe if I can help go through some of the narrative a little bit, as I look at item 1, and this is our bid for school buses.
Right.
So this was bid 2025-16. So that tells the community that we bid that item during fiscal year 2025. So as we roll into July, every new bid will begin with 2026. That'll tell us what year that bid was initially done. As we're looking at that opening paragraph as well, tells you when the renewal period will be for the pricing on that from July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2026. And we tell you how many renewals are available, 1-year renewals are available under that current contract. So in this particular contract, that was a 4-year priced contract for buses. Year 1 was the set pricing that they submitted. And then we work out with the vendor. They make an offer for, hey, in the coming year, I'd like to renew the buses at this price. And we have the option to say, no, we want to go back out to bid. But that's how we write the opening narrative to most of the procurements, especially those that are under renewal, so that so the board has the ability to see that information.
But and this is new, this consent agenda. I think it's a good tool for our community to see instead of us reading it. It's always good when it's print. And it would be nice if we had something there saying that this is a renewal for so many years. So it just kind of gives it, I'm just saying, maybe that's something you guys can work on. Just for me, I see all the digits and all the information here, but the public doesn't see it. Mm-hmm. And when it says in here, this contract can be renewed for 2 years, additional 2 year for a 1-year term. I don't know if we're into the 6th time that we've just kept this and it's rolled over because it may be a government contract. And you know, that's been a question that I was asked for our constituents, you know. How do we know and how long has it been renewed and that you're actually going back to bid it and looking at it, at least getting 2 and maybe not 3, just to see if we're still in line. So that's all I have to say about the renewals. That's it.
Any other discussion? Let's move to the vote. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. You're still here
I am
for the
still here.
2025 budget adjustment.
So as the board knows, periodically, we have to reforecast both revenues, expenses based on how things are trending. We have a series of those adjustments this evening. They are ultimately budget neutral from a fund balance perspective, that they balance out. These were reviewed by the Finance Committee at its meeting last Wednesday on the 14th. And with the board's approval this evening, should we receive that, we're scheduled to bring these to the commissioners because they do cross over categories, and we'll present them to the commissioners at their first meeting in June. Happy to answer any questions you have on the adjustments.
Do I have a motion?
President Zentmeyer moved to approve the proposed FY25 budget adjustments as presented.
Second. Discussion, anybody have any questions for Mr. Peru? We'll move to the vote. All those in favor? It carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric.
Which brings us to personnel action.
I think
No.
you're,
Nope, not
No.
quite.
yeah, you,
Sort of.
Oh, okay.
As presented previously in closed session, I'm requesting the board's approval of a candidate for a board advisory committee.
I think I'm sorry, aren't we looking at the communications tower at the Center for?
Number 4,
Sorry,
project memorandum of understanding.
So, yeah.
sorry, I missed my book out of order.
Sorry about that. I haven't amended.
You're on
We are
3.
on 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, I was looking at, no, you're right. Jeff was right. Jeff was right. Yeah.
So seeking your approval of a candidate for a board advisory committee as discussed previously in closed session. Last closed session 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
All right, do I have a motion?
President Zentmeyer moved to approve the presented Board of Advisory Committee appointment.
Second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Thank you.
Still here.
I don't know how I missed that.
It's quite all right. The next matter, as Ms. Ram joins me, is a project memorandum of understanding for the new Downsville Pike Elementary School facility. This is a tri-party agreement as discussed in closed session that enjoins the Board of Education, the Board of County Commissioners, and the Maryland Stadium Authority. It's a funding agreement for funds stemming from the Built to Learn Act, which is partial funding for the Downsville Elementary School to be built out front.
Do I have a motion?
I move for the approval of the project memorandum of understanding for the new Downsville Pike Elementary School facility by and among the Board of Education of Washington County, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, Maryland, and the Maryland Stadium Authority.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion on this? All those in favor? Unanimously accepted. Here.
Still here, bad penny. The next
Communication tower.
The next item is to seek the Board of Education's approval to convey the communications tower located on the property here at Downsville Pike to county government for it to be relocated as they construct the new or renovate for the new 911 center on Western Maryland Parkway. County government will cover all costs of having the tower deconstructed here and moved and reconstructed on the new site.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the conveying of the communications tower at the Center of Education Services to the Washington County Board of County Commissioners.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to the vote. All those in favor? Unanimously agreed. Talk to us about SAT fundraising.
I am.
Okay.
Good afternoon, President Zentmeyer, Dr. Sovine, and board members. I am seeking approval to accept a donation of $13,580 from the SAT Fundraising Leading Edge Fundraising to support the North Hagerstown High School's baseball team and girls lacrosse team. $4,688 will be used to purchase nets, goals at the practice field, and player equipment bags for the girls lacrosse team, and $8,892 will be used to purchase yellow piping, a batting cage net, a tarp for home plate, and a windscreen for the baseball team.
Do I have a motion?
President Zentmeyer, move to approve donation of $13,580 from SAT Fundraising Leading Edge Fundraising to support the North Hagerstown High School's baseball team and the North Hagerstown High School's girls lacrosse team.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? We'll move to the vote. All in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Which brings us to real property deed lease agreement with Milestone Tower.
Thank you. Before the board tonight for approval is a real property deed of lease agreement with Milestone Tower Limited Partnership Communications Company and Washington County Board of Education to erect a communications tower on the campus of Smithsburg. It's a lease agreement which Milestone intends to install and operate and lease the space on the equipment tower to other telecommunications or other wireless communication providers, and we would receive revenue from this.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the real property deed of lease agreements by and between the Board of Education of Washington County and Milestone Tower Limited Partnership.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to the vote. All in favor? Approved unanimously.
Next item, Dr. Zentmeyer, is staff's recommendation to dedicate the proceeds from the lease, land lease agreement you just approved towards turf replacement at Smithsburg High School.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, to dedicate the revenue received from the construction and operation of the cell tower on the campus of the Smithsburg High School towards capital improvements at the Smithsburg High School Stadium for turf replacement.
All right.
I was just winging that, sorry.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to the vote. All in favor? Approved unanimously. Thank you.
And I think this is my last one.
This is a Jeff Fruit show. Okay, go ahead.
Staff is seeking the board's approval on a tri-party agreement between ourselves, the Town of Boonesboro, and the Board of County Commissioners for the realignment of Campus Avenue with Chase 6 Boulevard.
Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the memorandum of understanding by and between the Board of Education of Washington County, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, the Mayor and Town of Boonesboro for the realignment of Campus Avenue on the Boonesboro campus.
Do I have a second? Second. Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to the vote. All in favor? And it passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, come on, you don't have one more thing for us?
Not me.
Okay.
No, I get the last agenda item. I'm asking the board to approve an order of dismissal as discussed in the order of a dismissal as discussed in closed session.
Do I have a motion?
President Zentmeyer, I move to approve the order of dismissal to be issued in Washington County Board of Education docket number 2025-001.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, let's move to the vote. All in favor? Okay, we agree unanimously. Thank you. Personnel actions, Dr. Webster?
All right, Good evening, Dr. Zentmeyer, members of the board, and Dr. Spine. As discussed earlier during closed session, there are several staff changes for your review, and at this time, I ask for your approval of this evening's personnel actions.
Do I have a motion?
President Zentmeyer, I move to approve the personnel actions dated Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, as presented in closed session.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to the vote. All in favor? Did you vote opposed? So, 6-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
If anybody has any future agenda items that they want to be considered, you can see me or the vice president, and we will add that to our agenda meeting, which is filling up quickly, so let your desires be made known. Reports to the board, I'll start with curriculum and instruction. C&I met May 7th at Smithburg Elementary. Oh, my goodness, what a view. We're in a room that you could see just South Mountain so beautifully. So thank you to Principal Roth. Joe Allen was on hand to give us a tech plan update, and we discussed grading policies. And we need more discussion on the elementary rubric that we're using, as well as the retention policy. Our next meeting is June 4th at Hancock Elementary. Facilities?
So facilities did not meet, but plans to schedule a meeting in June. We decided, since there was so much going on at the end of May with the graduations that are coming up, and that we really didn't have any pressing items for the agenda until the Downsville School project comes up, which will be I think bidding will be going out soon, and we'll be discussing some things about that in June. So we'll present in June.
Okay, finance? He didn't give anybody a report.
We met last week, and a lot of what was discussed was what we just voted on and other future items. We also discussed an audit that we received from the state, and I'm sure there'll be more discussion about that, so we can move forward with that. And then I forget when our next meeting is, but it will be sometime in June. I believe we said June.
And policy?
Policy will not meet until after school gets out. I think it's June 10th, one day in June. I don't know off the top of my head what day that is.
Okay, did I skip somebody? Go ahead.
Resources, yes. We met April 29th, and Lindsay Darr told us all about this system for teacher selection criteria that they've developed. They've worked very hard forming committees, training principals on how to use this system, and it talks about growth mindset, culture and belonging, community engagement, academic excellence, professional attributes, and then there's a lot of things that go on to that. But it was very interesting. They've worked very hard on this, and I think it's going to bring us some very successful teachers.
Great. Since your people aren't here, we'll go ahead and go to public comment. It's 30 minutes anyway, and we have time to do it.
You want to do that now? We'll do it right here. Okay.
The next item on our agenda is public comment. Before I call individuals forward, I'd like to make comments from policy KD regarding procedure at business meetings. Each person willing to address the Board of Education is encouraged but not required to sign it up prior to the meeting, and may address any topic concerning Washington County Public Schools except personnel or student matters which clearly identify the individual or individuals. Those wishing to address the board who do not sign up prior to the start of the meeting will be required to sign in on the log. Each speaker may speak up to 5 minutes. A timer will be used for each speaker. Once the speaker begins, a timer will be started. There'll be a green light. When you have 30 seconds remaining, there will be a yellow light. And When the speaker's 5 minutes have elapsed, a tone will sound and a red light will be displayed on the timer indicating the speaker's allotted time has ended. Do we have anybody signed up, Deb? No? It's right there. Is it, do you all have the log back there?
There's,
Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. I was looking at the wrong place. Thanks. So our first speaker is Pia Salzo. How close am I? Thank you.
Good afternoon, board members and President Zentmeyer. My name is Pia Schelzo, and I am honored to serve as your Miss Western Maryland and will compete for the title of Miss Maryland this June in Hagerstown. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you today and to share a cause that is deeply personal to me and very important for the future of our schools. In today's world, where 1 in 5 people are neurodivergent, it is important more now than ever that we raise awareness about neurodiversity and actively work to create more inclusive and supportive environments in our schools. The term neurodiversity reflects the understanding that there are many different ways of thinking, learning, and interpreting things that happen in the world. These differences are not deficits, but rather unique strengths that enrich our communities. Neurodiversity includes conditions such as autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and in many other forms. As someone who has lived experience with ADHD and Tourette syndrome, I have witnessed both the challenges and the strengths that come with these differences. My journey has fueled a passion for changing the narrative, to shift from misunderstanding and stigma towards empowerment and acceptance. Educators play a critical role in this shift. When teachers foster a classroom environment where all students feel safe, seen, and supported, those students are not only more likely to succeed academically, but they are more likely to thrive in all aspects of their lives. This is why I am proposing that kindergarten through 12th grade teachers and school administrators in Washington County, and hopefully beyond, be required to participate in a new and improved neurodiversity training with periodic retraining to ensure continued learning and growth. This training would equip teachers with strategies to use in their classroom setup, lesson plan, and assessments, and would also include personal stories from neurodivergent students to provide real-world perspective. The goal is to empower educators to recognize, accommodate, and celebrate learning differences, rather than trying to fit every student into a one-size-fits-all molds. By doing so, we can ensure greater equity, inclusion, and opportunity for every single student, laying the foundation for lifelong academic and personal success. As members of the Washington County Board of Education, I urge you to take this message to heart and consider how these ideas can be integrated into the decisions that you make now and in the future, because I truly believe that it is time for us to think differently about neurodiversity. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sean Porter. Haley Fairley.
Good evening. It's nice to be here again. It's been a month or so since I've been here. I just want to update you. Mainly, I want to thank all of you for listening, and we've been heard, and steps have been taken, and things have really settled down. Not so much chaos going on constantly. The students' needs are being addressed, and we're looking forward to some changes coming in for next year. A huge shout out to the staff that has been phenomenal all year long, trying everything imaginable. The evacuations, the classroom evacuations have dropped dramatically. There's just, it's just a much better atmosphere out there, and I do encourage you to visit the schools whenever you get a chance. Just come in, and everyone's out there doing their best, and I know it's countywide that these students, they have the mental issues and emotional issues, and they really do need to be addressed. They're coming at us younger and younger. We're seeing it. And really, that prompt action, I think if we can really help them at the youngest ages, they can then hopefully get the help they need and get on the right track so they can all be successful. But I know you guys probably hear a lot of negative things. I really wanted to take time to come and say thank you for your attention and the work that you're doing. And really, just for Clear Spring, I can say we're very grateful, and we see the changes happening, and it's been a relief for a lot of people, and it's good both for staff and for the students. We're seeing some positives already just in the past few weeks. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I will continue to
Thank you.
keep you updated.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Katie Weber?
Hi.
All right. My name is Katie Weber. I am a mother of 2 children who both attend Hancock Elementary School. I am here today to talk about an incident that has affected my youngest daughter, who is in kindergarten. A few of you may have seen my post on social media last week. If you have not, I encourage you to read it as I go into further detail of the incident. My daughter has been dealing with a child all year in her classroom who has been disruptive during class, has been a bully to other children, and recently has been physical with her, which has included touching her in inappropriate places. The most recent physical contact he has had with her was when he walked up to her and another child, grabbed their heads, and smacked their heads together. This incident happened at the end of March. I notified the teacher about the incident the next day and explained in my message that there have been ongoing issues with this child all year, and if something happens again, I will be forced to intervene. Unfortunately, I am here today to intervene again. On Tuesday, April 29th, as soon as my kids got off the bus, my youngest proceeds to tell me that the same child that we have had issues with all year threatened to shoot her in the head and kill her. Sorry. Along with some of the other children she was sitting with at lunchtime. He also proceeded to make a gun with his hand and pointed it at another student. My child immediately reported this to an adult. The administration's response to this threat was less than stellar. I was notified several hours after the incident occurred, and I had to hear it from my 6-year-old first. Unacceptable. The administration at Hancock Elementary never notified the school resource officer of the incident. I had to call him myself. When I called, he had no knowledge of the incident and then went to the school immediately to speak with the principal. The administration then lied to my face and told me that they had notified him. I found out from another parent that this child also threatened to cut off my daughter and her friends' heads. After questioning administration about why I was never notified of this, they claimed they didn't know about it. I find that odd because other people who work in the school knew about it. My daughter confirmed that her friend did notify an adult. This child was removed from the classroom for 1 day and placed back into the classroom like nothing ever happened. I ultimately chose to remove my child from school after hearing about the second threat. She was out of school for almost 4 days until the school system put in effect a safety plan that I was comfortable with that allowed her to return to school. While out of school, my daughter asked my husband one day, "Daddy, have I been good enough to go back to school?" Reflecting on the situation, my daughter is the one who suffered. It angers me that throughout this whole process, nobody in the school system was really worried about how she was doing or how all of this has affected her. Had I not been angry and persistent, I am confident that nothing would have been done and a safety plan would have never been put in place so that she could return to school safely. This experience leaves me with a lot of concerns. I requested multiple times for this child to be removed from the classroom. I was told repeatedly that it wouldn't happen because there are no resources to do so. A child's life was threatened, but we can't do anything about it because of lack of resources. That is also unacceptable. How do you explain that to a 6-year-old that she has to remain in class with this child because there's nowhere to place him? Why is there not a safety plan already in place when threats like this are made? This is 2025. These things do happen, and they should be handled in a serious manner. Do we really expect that parents are okay with sending their child back in the classroom with someone that just threatened them? Every child deserves to feel safe at school. not just physically, but emotionally. When a student threatens another, whether with words, gestures, or actions, it disrupts that sense of safety. It can leave children feeling anxious, fearful, and distracted from what they're there to do, learn, grow, and thrive. What are we doing about disruptive children in the school system? When a child consistently disrupts the classroom, whether it be yelling or behaving aggressively, it impacts the entire class's ability to learn and feel safe. Early identifications of behaviors and support is crucial. Intervention shouldn't begin after months of disruption. It should begin as soon as patterns emerge. Schools should value both discipline and compassion. Discipline is about teaching appropriate behavior and creating boundaries that keep everyone safe and focused. Compassion ensures that we are responding to a child's needs in a way that helps them grow. Teachers need support. They are not therapists. They are educators who are already stretched thin with large class sizes, limited resources, and high demands. They need consistent backing from school leadership when they enforce fair and respectful classroom rules. Instead, disruptive students are sent back to the classroom with candy or a prize. The lack of action, urgency, and transparency from the administration at Hancock Elementary and WCPS is very disappointing. As parents, we put our trust in the school system to protect our children. Our children deserve better.
Thank you, Ms. Roger Stenison. Carol now. Oh. I'm sorry, you were behind her. I didn't see you. No, I have yours. Okay.
Dr. Zentmeyer, board members, Dr. Sovine, good afternoon. As I mentioned in our last get-together, my name's Roger Stenison. I'm representing the organization Rising to Learn, or RTL. It's a grassroots group which has as its mission to share your actions with as many people as possible who are vested in the decisions you make as the Board of Education that governs the school system where their children learn. We currently have over 560 members to, I should say, followers to our Facebook page, considerably more, I might observe, than the number of individuals commenting on recent policy changes and updates. Individuals who are interested in following our group can go to risingtolearn.com. That's risingtolearn.com. Last month, when I had the opportunity to speak with you, I urged that you not only say that you value public input, but that your actions reflected that as well. It's RTL's current assessment making the new meeting time during the workday for most constituents and requiring that they sign up a day in advance if they wish to address the board, that your actions do not reflect that interest in receiving public input, as these changes further limit constituents' input. It's a matter of board policy that, quote, all persons are encouraged, unquote, to present input to the board, and the policy changes you have adopted and those that you're considering are in direct opposition to this statement. We believe it would behoove you to be more inviting of public comment rather than restricting it. RTL has surveyed the public to share their views about recently approved and considered policy changes via the survey website Survey Planet. We've received over 200 responses, and here are the questions we asked and the results we received. I hope that you find them helpful. The first question was, the Board of Education changed the start time of its monthly business meetings from 6 p.m. to 4 p.m. This makes it more difficult for working parents, WCPS staff, and other stakeholders to attend these meetings. Which start time do you favor, 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock? As you can see, by a margin of 94% to 5%, the respondents favored the later time because we believe it gives them greater access to make their input. At the bottom of the first page of my comments is our second question. Previously, the public comment portion of the Board of Ed's monthly business meeting was at the beginning of the meeting. This allowed stakeholders to share their concerns and suggestions regarding any agenda items the board would be voting on or discussing during the meeting. Public comment has been moved to the end of the meeting and now occurs after both old and new business agenda items. Do you think our question said that public comment should be at the beginning of the meeting or at the end? Again, a very sizable margin, over 93% to 6% said should be at the beginning. Board of Education Policy KD in question number 3 on page 2 has been under review by the board's policy committee, and a revised version of the policy was approved at a first reading. The board decided not to proceed with that, but it presumably is undergoing some further consideration and possible revision. One revision under consideration would change the current policy and would require anyone wishing to speak during public comment to sign up by 4 p.m. the day before the meeting. Under the existing policy, as we are observing today, speakers are encouraged to sign up in advance, or they may sign up upon arrival at the meeting. Current practice under the existing policy has been to allow anyone who wishes to speak to be able to do so after those who signed up in advance have spoken. Our results strongly favor maintaining the present policy as opposed to the proposed changes. Rising to Learn knows the value of stakeholder input and feedback in the decision-making that will occur, and certainly expects that you'll consider these results as you discuss and deliberate. I see that my time is limited, so I'm going to skip to my last paragraph. We're quite concerned about your elimination of the position of Supervisor of Equity and Excellence.
Fortunately, we have it in front of us, so we'll be able to
Well,
finish
yes.
reading it.
And I
Thank you so
thank you.
much, Mr. Stenison.
Thank you for your attention. I look forward to speaking with you again.
Carol Mallon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Zentmeyer, Dr. Sovine, and members of the board. I'm Carol Mallon, President of the Washington County Teachers Association. WCTA is a democratic organization made up of over 1,500 educators. Our leadership includes an elected board of directors, similar to a Senate, and a representative council, which mirrors a House of Representatives, with members of every school. When I speak, I bring forward concerns commonly shared by our members. WCTA and the Board of Education share key priorities: safe schools, supportive and effective discipline, quality teaching materials, and adequate staffing, both in classrooms and behind the scenes. One of WCTA's strategic priorities is ensuring working conditions that support educators physically and mentally so that we can give our best to our students. We can't do that without the critical back office operations at the Center for Education Services. This includes enough buses and staff to prevent school-level disruptions and have school schedules and services that meet students' needs and families' needs too. A maintenance team equipped to address climate control issues in aging buildings, and enough custodians to manage the regular and deep cleaning needs to keep our schools safe and clean. An HR team with the capacity to support hiring and licensure tracking, as well as recruit and train substitute teachers, paraprofessionals, and other educational support professionals that we need to support our schools. Each month, I meet with our rep council to hear building level concerns. I then bring these common concerns to the attention of central office departments through regular meetings with HR Director Terry Baker and conversations with Dr. Sovine. Today, I want to share some of the most consistent concerns from this school year and ask that you support the time, staffing, and funding needed to address them. First, building conditions. We continue to receive reports of extreme heat and cold in classrooms throughout multiple buildings. While custodians are doing their best, outdated HVAC systems and limited CES support mean problems often go unresolved. In response, it should not be expected that teachers bring in fans from home, or that students wear coats to combat the cold, or that preschool teachers bring in blankets for their children at nap time. These are basic comfort needs that impact learning every day. Second, discipline and safety. In some schools, referrals are taking weeks to process due to insufficient administrative staff. We also have concerns that students in both elementary and secondary schools need improved mental health and behavioral supports that cost more than our current allocations provide. Elementary behavior challenges in particular are a growing concern. We're grateful for the new approach to the Engage program that is, in part, we hope, the result of our sharing concerns earlier this year. However, the issues are not confined to Engage classrooms only. Addressing these challenges requires more than discipline. It requires investment in behavior support and interventions. And this trend in elementary schools' behavior isn't unique to our county. It's happening across the state and nation. Third, instructional support. There's a growing strain from state expectations around small group instruction and tiered interventions, especially when staff and time haven't increased. For some educators in specific content areas, primarily English and math, the workload is simply not sustainable. Supplemental teachers do help in some schools, but they are not enough. And a quick note of progress. Last year, cell phone use in secondary schools was a top concern in our rep councils, came up almost every month. Thanks to stronger enforcement at the direction of Dr. Sovine, that issue has significantly improved. While there are certainly still issues, we do appreciate the efforts, and we hope to see continued vigilance and accountability for adhering to the board's policy on cell phone use in schools. Finally, I want to emphasize that WCTA is not a union that exists apart and outside of the system. We are inside and we are part of the system. Our members are your educators. We are over 75% of the teaching workforce in Washington County. When others attempt to discredit WCTA or question union motives, I ask that you demand facts and remember WCTA advocates for fair wages, safe working conditions, and the best learning environment for all students. Thank you for your time and your continued collaboration.
Thank you.
Mrs. Mound, could you please present your papers to us when you come in, so we can have those, and you can give them to all the board members?
I'll be happy to email them to you. I often make last-minute edits and corrections, so it wouldn't be appropriate for you to have my messy copy.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate a copy.
Anybody else want to speak? Mr. Porter, I already have you on the list, so you don't have to sign in.
Oh, I don't sign in. Alrighty, I'm a little bit confused. I thought that the teachers union representative was speaking to Governor Moore when she was addressing this board. The talks about funding and not enough funding should not be directed at the Board of Education as we currently have it. The problems we're having with the budgets are in Annapolis. They're mandating we do things. There's this thing called the blueprint. It's going to bankrupt all the counties. It's going to bankrupt all the school systems in Maryland. She's complaining about not enough money for HVAC equipment and all this other great stuff, and I agree we need money for all that in a perfect world. Governor Moore, the person that the teachers union representative that just left, supports, cut $9 million in funding just a couple months ago from reimbursement to Washington County. So the teachers union supports Governor Moore. Governor Moore takes money away from all the counties in the form of reimbursement to the counties for the budget for expenditures on the Board of Ed and the school system. So they're out there supporting their own cuts to their own teachers. So the teachers unions are not representing the teachers. They're certainly not representing the students, the taxpayers, or the school systems if they actually care about them being properly funded, because the person they politically pushed into office, Governor Wes Moore, is actually the one doing the budget cuts. And every single time I come to these meetings, I hear individuals like the teachers union rep before me who sit here and complain about not enough funding and you must fully fund the school system. And then they go and vote for Governor Moore, who takes away millions of dollars at a time from the school system. I'm really confused by this whole process. So I just wanted to point that out. And also I want to state I love the newer time. It is great. I like not leaving here at 9 o'clock and actually getting to hear all this great information. But long story short, if you vote for Governor Moore, in the next election cycle, you're voting for cuts to Washington County Public Schools. It's that simple. And the person that was speaking before me is an adamant supporter of the Democrat Party. and the Democrats who are cutting funds to WCPS. So the fact that she comes in here and talks to you guys about, we need more money, and then goes out and votes for the very person taking the money out of the coffers of WCPS, it just seems a little bit ridiculous. It happens month after month. They come in here and complain that there's not enough money for the school system, and then they go and they vote in people like Wes Moore, who cuts funding to the school system, and then mandates things like the blueprint, which actually costs us, we have to spend money that we weren't going to spend in an ideal world. Taking control away from local school boards. Also, basically, the money doesn't grow on trees. The money comes back from Annapolis, comes from the county, comes from multiple sources, comes from the federal government. And every single time, I'm just getting a little tired of the fact that I come in here and I get to hear the people who support those who are cutting funds to WCPS yelling at you fine people, not you, Linda, about why there's not enough money for the schools. It's a little bit ridiculous, and I just wanted to point that out, that we have an election coming up here for governor, and if you're supporting Governor Moore, you're supporting cuts to WCPS. I believe there's a primary challenger that's going to be challenging Governor Moore. Maybe you should vote for that guy instead of Moore, or maybe vote for Larry Hogan, who's supposed to be running against Governor Moore in the upcoming election on the behalf of the Republicans. Anyway, that's all I had for today. So again, vote against Governor Moore if you want more money for the school system, and stop blaming the current board. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Anyone else here to speak? Are we okay to go with one more speaker? You can sign in after you speak.
Thank you. My name is Susan Day, concerned citizen of Washington County. Governor Moore, Lieutenant Governor Savine. Excuse me. Thought we were somewhere else. My first topic of discussion is irrelevant information that continually is presented here at this meeting. While this is a public meeting, comments should be limited to topics within the scope and scope of this organization. Political agendas and who we should vote for outside of this group of people should not be discussed. Now, what do? Individuals violating this policy should be required to submit their comments in writing to the board after they violate the following policy. Now, Dr. Zentmeyer, I've been to enough meetings with you. You're thinking, how do I control this? I will personally transcribe public comments and submit them to the board. You can then vote, relevant, irrelevant. A form letter is sent to these people. This is your first warning. This is your second warning. After the third warning, your comments are not public worthy. You can submit them in writing. That's it. Second, misinformation. Wasn't here last month. I wanted to talk about the Rutgers DEI study. Another speaker spoke of the study done at Rutgers. I was like, wow, Rutgers, great university, DEI, we're still talking about it. I went and Googled Rutgers DEI, came up with pages and pages of opinions. No facts from Rutgers. So I contacted Rutgers. First, the study was not done in the workplace, as the speaker said. It was done at Rutgers University amongst 18, 19, and 20-year-old young adults. There were 3 groups in the study, 2 non-control, 1 control, as any professional study has. The first 2 groups were given actual cases of discrimination where the outcome was ruled in the favor of the plaintiff. Then, all 3 groups were given a case study without the result and asked to come up with what they thought the ruling should be. In the first 2 groups, it was determined that if you were in the first 2 groups where you were exposed to rulings in favor of discrimination, you are more likely to believe discrimination occurred. More of those students voted yes, it was discrimination, as to the people who were not. Now, in my opinion, that means if you're exposed to discrimination, you're more likely to believe it occurs. But I will say this, that is my opinion. The rest of the information I gave you was fact from Rutgers. They actually have taken the study down because of the misinformation that is being presented. Last topic, and I'm trying to go quick. Behavior. During my last year of teaching, the following occurred in my 4th grade classroom. A student brought a box cutter to school, took it out and showed it to students during lunch, recess, encore, letting them know he had it and would use it. In my 4th grade classroom, there was vaping. This resulted in 2 students having an asthma attack and a nurse's intervention and students being sent home. Next, my class was walking by the restroom, there was smoke coming out. A student was smoking in the bathroom. When I came in, she threw the cigarette into the trash, and just like what happened at Bester, it started a fire. Fortunately, I was there and nothing got out of control. I called for the custodian, came, put the fire out. Lastly, a student came up behind me with a chair as I was sitting working with a group like this and threatened to hit me over the head and kill me. He did not like me. This is what he said, "I do not like you and I don't want to be here." In all of these cases, the consequences were exactly the same. Nothing. These students were all back in my classroom. Nothing. And I will point out, because we've had this conversation, none of these students had a 504 or an IEP. So we keep hearing, well, their rights are guaranteed under federal law. They did not have an IEP. They did not have a 504. I know, Mr. Evans, I appreciate you have taken that and talked about we've got to do something, we got to do something. I'd love to talk to you about action, consequence, cut and dry. You smoke, you vape. You do that in this building, there are consequences. It should be the same in a classroom. And I don't want to hear that people have 504s and IEP. My son had a 504 and an IEP. I would never have let him do any of these things and get away with it. Thank you.
Can we go to board comments before we go to this? Does anyone have any response to the public comment?
No, I just want to thank all of the speakers for coming and voicing their opinions. We always value your opinions, every one of you.
I would like to say, Katie, I think that you kind of worded it perfectly. We need compassion and discipline, and I think discipline is what's missing. It's something that I have spoken about several times. I do think that the way that we're currently doing things, where students get sent to the principal and come back with a prize, is only reinforcing bad behavior. I'm sorry that that happened to your daughter, and I am really doing everything that I personally can to work towards our students feeling safe at school.
Okay, we're moving into the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Zentmeyer. To begin my report, we will be recognizing some of our student writers for achieving excellence at the state and national level. Dr. Gary Willow, our Associate Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, will introduce us to these honorees.
Good evening. First this evening, we'd like to recognize students from the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts who are Gold Key winners in the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. In March, we recognized the artists, and tonight we'd like to honor the writers. These awards are the nation's longest running and among the most prestigious recognition programs for creative teens. Student works are evaluated based on their originality, skill, and their ability to express an authentic perspective. I'm going to announce first the students who were not able to join us this evening. Isabella Cochran, Emily Dronberg, Finn Jackson, Gia Johnson, Joyce Liu, Annie Mix, Angel Scott, Brielle Thames and Kamaya Wilson. With us this evening, Kate Hensley. Ezron Meidelsmith.
Right over here. Right over there. That's good.
Kate Morris. Kelly Nguyen. Amelia Scolaro. Now, board members, we actually have a second recognition that we want to recognize at the same time. This was If I Were a Mayor Essay Contest. We're recognizing another young writer this evening, this time from Paramount Elementary School. The Maryland Municipal League annually hosts If I Were a Mayor Essay Contest. Respondents put themselves in the shoes of a municipal leader and imagine the change they would create in their community if they were mayor. More than 1,400 essays were submitted this year. 11 district winners are chosen. Please join me in congratulating Mayor Annabelle Sellers, a 4th grade student at Paramount Elementary School, as our district winner. If we could give all of our students a round of applause for their accomplishments. Thank you.
Congratulations again to all of our student writers. Next, in May, we recognize Teacher Appreciation Week, and as a part of their celebration, we honor our new WCPS Teacher of the Year and the finalists. I'd like to ask Mrs. Joni Burkhart, Supervisor of Professional Learning, to introduce these outstanding educators.
Good evening, President Zentmeyer, Dr. Suvine, and members of the board. Washington County Public Schools is so proud of our talented and dedicated educators. We recognize the incredible talent and compassion that our teachers invest in our students on a daily basis. The Teacher of the Year program serves as a way to highlight excellence in teaching. Principals, colleagues, students, parents, and community members are invited to nominate outstanding teachers. This year, the Public Information Department, in collaboration with the community judges and WCPS judges, carefully reviewed the nominations and selected 5 distinguished finalists. The winner serves as a representative of all WCPS teachers for the school year ahead. At this time, I'd like to share a video that highlights each of our finalists.
As an educator, I am guided by the spirit of communication. My students know that I keep them to high expectations, but they also know through our communication and our relationship building that I'm with them every single step of the way. I have my kids advocating for themselves and helping me make decisions for their betterment so that they can be successful.
She exemplifies what we want to see in education. Kids engage, grade level, high rigorous stuff, and that's every day. That's every day, and that's why kids just want to be in here. We want students to be doing real world things. We want students to be challenged every day, and she's great at that.
For me, there is nothing better than planning out an activity or a lab and having the kids work on it and listening to the giggles and to the vibrant conversations that these kids are having and seeing them discover the magic of science.
they start to get a love of learning. And, you know, watching them have that spirit of inquiry is really fulfilling. And I know that if at the end of the day I got some kids who love science or love learning, then I have absolutely done my job.
As I think about what guides me, I think about moments when children are little and the hope and the promise and the stars and the lights and the excitement that children have in their hearts and in their eyes and in all of their bodies. And even when they get to be middle, which can be a little bit tricky, and big, I always try to remember that little sparkle that once was, and I try to get back to that place. Because if we can get back to that place, we can love and support and nurture children. And I show them and I demonstrate to them and I cheer for them in every moment. That's when I know as a teacher I've done my job.
When I think of Mrs. Potter, I think of teaching and passion. When I first got to this building, she was the first one to welcome me with a big smile. She has such a heart for education and especially for Tech High. She's inspired countless students to move on into the career of teaching, and she's just an incredible human being.
We don't know the careers that these young people will endeavor as they get to be adults. But one message is clear, that we developed, we cultivated, we loved, we supported unconditionally their passions, all of the contributions that they make, things that they are exceptional at, and helping them work through some of their areas of growth. And if everyone thought of those things and the differences that we're making in children's lives, wouldn't the world be a better place?
I have a deep desire to make a difference in the lives of these children. I want to create a positive environment here in my classroom where it feels like we're a family, where I can help foster growth, where we can work together collaboratively, where we can reach goals, and where I can build relationships with students. Because once I build those relationships with students, it fosters the growth. They trust me, they want to learn, and everybody succeeds.
Mrs. Rochelle is one of the most innovative teachers that I've ever had experience with in the past 27 years. She is a teacher who does not accept no for an answer. She always wants to do better for her students and better for herself. She is constantly going to professional development, just not for math, but also for science and ELA, which pushes her to the next level.
Within my classroom, I create a community of learners. The goal of this is for students to succeed, not just academically, but socially. They learn how to get along with each other. They learn how to respect each other. They learn that every single person in this classroom has a voice. Teaching is more than a profession. Teaching is a deep-rooted calling where you feel that you have the ability to make a difference in the lives of the students.
My passion for teaching comes primarily from my relationships with the kids. The more I get to know them, the more I feel like they deserve the best every day. I think about them like I thought about my own kids, and I think about what I want for them. And it's not just academic learning. They have to learn the content, but while they're learning the content, they can learn these other skills that are going to take them beyond second grade, beyond even their whole education.
Mrs. Swam goes above and beyond with her daily instruction. The way she plans and preps and supports all of her learners, she just has a passion for learning and loves kids. And it shows every day.
I love the starfish story where the child's walking along the beach and there's thousands of starfish and the child's throwing them back in the ocean, and someone asks, why bother? You're not going to be able to help them all. And the child says, but it made a difference for that one. It made a difference for that one. If you just think about that one individual student or that one interaction and making a difference right there, it can have a huge impact.
So my passion for teaching comes from
the idea of seeing students really gain self-confidence, whether that be in a task that they're doing or if they are taking a test and they ace it, just that moment where they feel pride in themselves and their work. At Tech High, I work in the cosmetology department and I teach our 12th grade students. We have a very unique program. We are setting students up to end their senior year with a license in cosmetology for the state of Maryland. So our students leave here with the ability to work immediately after graduation. The other thing that is unique is that we run a program that has a business that's open to the public. So our classroom really can be entered 3 days a week by anybody in the area that wants to come. The students have to be their most professional and at their best.
Mrs. Chapman works so hard for her students and gets them prepared for the industry. She goes above and beyond helping them get placements, get their certifications. She works tirelessly through her planning period if she has to make sure that these students have a good mentor as they're working on clients and getting ready to go out into the workforce.
All students learn differently. All students have success that looks different to them. And as an educator and as an educational system, we need to provide that for students in a way that they can find whatever life is going to take them without us driving them in a specific direction.
It's now my pleasure to introduce our finalist and the WCPS Teacher of the Year. Bree Calkins, a science teacher at North Hagerstown High School. Nicole Potter, who leads the Teacher Academy of Maryland program at the Boyd J. Michael III Technical High School. Kim Rochelle, we're going to recognize her. She can't be here tonight. She is a 3rd grade math teacher at Williamsport Elementary. Jen Swam, 2nd grade teacher from Morgansville Elementary. And our Washington County Teacher of the Year is Marjorie Chapman. Marjorie is a cosmetology teacher at the Boyd J. Michael III Technical High School. We'd like to take a photo with all of our finalists, and then Marjorie will share a few words.
Good evening. Thank you to our elected board and to Dr. Savine for recognizing myself and my fellow Teacher of the Year finalists. I could not have asked to be recognized alongside a nicer group of educators and professionals. Becoming the Washington County Teacher of the Year has been a huge honor for me. As a career and technical teacher, we teach in a way that is sometimes thought of as different than everyone else. And what we do really is the same as every other classroom. We prepare students for their future. And Washington County Public Schools offers so many amazing opportunities to have future success for our students, from middle college to the Boyd J. Michael III Technical High School, to our dual enrollment programs, and all of the different magnet and arts programs that we offer. Our community and our county really thrive because of what we as a school system can offer. And as a CTE teacher, I like to be able to champion that further and really highlight what we're doing as unique individuals and unique programs within Maryland and within Washington County. So I look forward to a year of representing our county well and hopefully making sure that other parts of Maryland to see all the great things we're doing here in Washington County, and hopefully I can learn from them and bring that back home, and they can learn from us, and we can share some of our successes throughout the state. Thank you, guys.
Great, thank you.
behalf of the school district, congratulations again. I know next week, May the 29th, Ms. Burkhart and I will be joining you in Baltimore, and the State Department of Ed will be recognizing you, and I believe in the fall we will have a very special event where the Maryland Teacher of the Year will be selected. We know you're going to represent Washington County very well. Once again, congratulations. We're proud of you, as well as all of our finalists. Very talented group. Congratulations and thank you. And finally this evening, WCPS once again has a state finalist in the running for the President's Award for Excellence in Science and Mathematics Teaching. I'll ask Erica Hancock, Middle School Mathematics Content Specialist, to come forward and help us recognize this teacher.
Good evening, President Zentmeyer, Dr. Savine, and members of the board. The Maryland State Department of Education announced 6 finalists for the 2025 Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics, Science, and Teaching for grades 7 through 12. Established in 1983, these awards are the highest honor bestowed by the United States government, specifically for K-12 science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and/or computer science teaching. The award recognizes teachers that have both deep content knowledge of the subject they teach and are the ability to motivate, enable students to be successful for those in those areas. State finalists represent the most outstanding teachers Maryland has to offer and serves as both a model and an inspiration to students and fellow teachers. The finalist applicants will be reviewed by the National Selection Committee, the results which will be announced by the White House in the future. I'm proud to share with you today that Washington County has a finalist for secondary mathematics in the running for this very award. Mr. Matt Reinhardt has been teaching for a total of 12 years, the last 6 of which have been at Northern Middle School as the special education math content teacher for grades 6 through 8. Mr. Reinhardt, we are pleased to honor you today as the 2025 finalist for the Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics, Science Teaching. Congratulations.
We have one more huge recognition for tonight, and that is going to be presented to our student on the board. Not only for our outstanding service, but all of the time and talent you've invested into the students of this county. We can't thank you enough, Daphne. You have been exceptional. You've been we go to 1, 2, maybe 3 committee meetings. She goes to all of them. And you show up, which in this year is something incredibly important. So, if you'll come this way, we'll get a picture.
Can we clap?
No, hold it.
Oh,
You gotta hold it up.
Be proud. I feel proud of you.
But you have one more meeting, right? At least one. Dr. Savine, you want to finish your report for us?
Yes, and thank you, President Zentmeyer. And just a comment before I prepare to conclude my report. Daphne, you have represented the student body extremely well. I thank you. Last night, it was a pleasure to to be in attendance for the IB Sash Night. You did a phenomenal job speaking and recognizing your peers. So thank you for being such an exceptional student board member representative.
It's an honor.
I do have just a few updates as I conclude my report. It's hard to believe we have 12 more student days in this school year. Our last day is Friday, June the 6th, and students will be dismissed 2.5 hours early on that day. I'd like to thank everyone in our learning community for making us a strong school system, our staff, students, the families who support them from home, this Board of Education, and our community partners. Thank you for making this another exceptional school year. In 1 week, we'll be attending the graduation celebrations for the class of 2025. To our graduates, I hope you've discovered your personal pathway to success through your time at WCPS, whether you're pursuing higher education, the workforce, the military, or another service opportunity. We're so proud of what you've accomplished, and we look forward to watching you as you have, I'm sure, continued successes. At this time of the year, we also celebrate another milestone with our employees who are heading into retirement. Last week, we celebrated our retirees. Collectively, our 78 retirees have invested more than 1,923 years into supporting our students in our schools. We're also grateful for the impact they've made in our community and wish them all the best in retirement. Another cause for celebration are Reading Tutor Apprentices. We're also excited to be expanding this program next year with opportunities for high school students to tutor our elementary students in both reading and mathematics. In closing tonight, I would like to share a video that highlights the voices of some of our reading tutors and the impact this program has had on them.
I really love working with kids. I've loved kids even when I was a kid, and I've always loved English in school, so when I found out I could teach something that I'm good at, it inspired me. So my role as a reading tutor apprentice is to work with kids. I work with pre-K, first graders, and second graders, and we work on closing reading gaps to help kids become more fluent in their reading and also to become confident in their reading too. Because it's one thing to know how to read, but it's another to be confident.
Usually I pull out both one-on-one and groups of kids to work on whether that be phonics, phonemic awareness, tapping it out, blending, or just fluency and comprehension of text.
The impact of the whole Reading Tutor Apprenticeship program is probably the reason why I chose to apply. During our training, you especially see just how much help these kids get one-on-one. It just really helps them get a grasp of what they're doing when they're reading.
The way both their attitude and their confidence and their performance has changed since I started working with them is amazing, and I'm so proud of many of my students. The impact that I have on these kids is something that changes them and something that prepares them to be forever readers.
And this is something that not only will help them now, but it'll help them in their future job or when they're parents and they have to sit down and help their kids with homework. But I also hope that they get a friend out of this experience because that's what I feel like I am with them.
These kids come in and tell me all about their day. Sometimes you have to cut them off so you can do their lessons, but tell me all about their day. They tell me about their birthdays, their favorite things, and I know them really well.
It's not just you sit down and you tutor them, but it's you sit down and you know what their after-school activities are. You know their 5 favorite colors. You know what their favorite song is, and they really thrive on those relationships, and I do too, and I'm glad that I have that with them.
It made me want to teach in the future. It just shows me how rewarding teaching is, and I think that has affected so much my outcome and what I think I'm gonna do in the future. It's completely changed my career path.
This experience has definitely made me consider teaching so much more, because I get to be with kids like all day long. and I see the good and I see the bad. So it's good to have both of those worlds and still say yes to the experience.
My outlook for the future has changed drastically because of this. At first, I wasn't even considering teaching as something I'd want to do. And now that I'm here, even though it wasn't something I originally planned, it's something that I can see having in my life forever.
If you're thinking about education, this is the best experience to get. You can't get this anywhere else.
We're certainly proud of our Reading Tutor Apprenticeship Program, and I want to thank this board for, through the budget process, expanding so that we can better serve our students who are striving readers, and now expanding to mathematics. So once again, we thank this board for your level of support there. President Zentmeyer, members of the board, that concludes my report this evening.
Which brings us to board member comments. You want to start, Tori?
I just want to say thank you, Daphne. You've been great, and we're really going to miss you.
I echo that. Thank you, Daphne. It's been a pleasure getting to know you over the past year here, and best of luck to you in your future endeavors. I'm sure you're going to be the best at whatever it is you decide to do. Also, I'll be heading out to Tech High for their graduation on Thursday, and then we have the other graduations. I believe it's this upcoming Tuesday, right? So, congratulations to all of the graduating seniors and all the students who just earned their associate's degree as well at HCC. So, best luck to everybody as they get to end this chapter and go on to the next chapter.
Well, I guess like the rest of them, thank you, Daphne. It's been a privilege. It seems like it flies so quickly that you're here and then it's like, time to go, you know, but I hear you've got a nice trip to China planned for the summer, which I'm really excited for you about that. And then you'll be joining, for college, you're going to?
MIT.
MIT.
Nice.
There you go. Thank you very much for serving on here. For all of our teachers out there, I know the kids are really just wanting to leave. Thank you for your dedication for the next couple weeks. I know that's tough at this time to keep them all wrangled in, and I thank all of them for doing that because it is a challenge, I'm sure, weeks of school because everyone's getting excited. And for all support staff who have to be there to support the teachers and the principals and that need this last minute stuff. Thank you all for what you do. I know it's going to be a quick couple weeks, and then you're going to get a nice little break, hopefully. So thank you all for what you do. And I will be attending South Hagerstown High School graduation in Marshall Street.
I will be attending Hancock graduation, and just like everyone else, congratulations. You did an amazing job. I wasn't here very long, but I really enjoyed hearing your perspective on everything. And thanks to all the speakers who came out tonight.
You're up.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Just thank you to all of you guys for making this year so wonderful. I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to have been able to serve as a student member of the board. It's unlike anything that I think even in this entire country is offered to students. So it's something that I'm going to remember forever. And I know I haven't lived that long, but it's been an honor of a lifetime. And also this is really nice too. I was not expecting that. And yeah, I think I'm really happy to have met all of you guys, even though it's been a short year. I think being able to know all of you, work with all of you, and get to hear some perspectives I may have never been exposed to before, it's important that everybody has a chance to be able to do that in their lifetime. And yeah, I know that it might be sad that I'm leaving, but I know this chair will be filled with a great person who is capable and wonderful, and I'm excited to see what is to come for Washington County. So thank you all.
And thank you all. And thank you for exemplifying that our future is in class today. Thank you so much. I can't add anything more. You all have covered it completely. This meeting is adjourned. Thanks.